Maine Coon cats are known for a lot of things. Their impressive size, that magnificent long fur, those tufted ears that give them a wild, lynx-like look. They have a reputation for being calm, thoughtful, and intelligent. But what truly defines them, what makes them so special, isn't just how they look. It's their gentle patience. The kind of quiet strength that can fill a home with a sense of peace. This is a story about that kind of gentleness. It takes place in a quiet home, the kind where sunlight spills across wooden floors and the loudest sound is the ticking of a clock. In this home lived a Maine Coon cat named Ash. He had been the king of his quiet castle for years. Ash's fur was a thick, luxurious silver gray, and his movements were always slow and deliberate, as if he was conserving his energy for something truly important. He had his favorite spots: the sun-drenched windowsill in the living room, the warm patch of rug by the fireplace, and any still moment he could find. His life was a predictable, comfortable rhythm of naps, slow stretches, and quiet observation. Then one day, the house changed forever. The quiet was replaced with a new kind of sound. A baby arrived. Her name was Ivy. From the very first day Ivy came home from the hospital, wrapped in a soft pink blanket, Ash sensed the shift. The air itself felt different. New sounds filled the house: the soft, intermittent cries of a newborn, the slow, shuffling steps of tired parents, and the hushed, whispered voices that seemed to hang in the air. Many cats would have retreated. They would have found a dark closet or a high shelf, a place to hide from the disruption. But Ash didn't hide. He didn't retreat. He watched. From a safe distance at first, he observed this new, tiny human. He chose a spot on the floor just inside the nursery doorway, a place where he could see Ivy in her crib without being too close. He would sit there for hours, perfectly still, his green eyes fixed on the small, sleeping form. He would blink slowly, a sign of trust and contentment, as he listened to the new symphony of sounds that now defined his home. He wasn't scared or annoyed. He was curious. He was studying. As the days turned into weeks, Ash became an unspoken part of Ivy's routine. He was a silent guardian, a furry shadow. When Ivy's parents would lay her on a soft blanket in the middle of the living room for tummy time, Ash would leave his windowsill. He'd pad over and rest nearby, his large body curled into a relaxed crescent shape. But his ears were always alert, swiveling to catch every sound. He was a mountain of fur, a protective presence. When Ivy started to discover her own hands wiggling her tiny fingers in the air, Ash would follow them with his gaze, his head tilting with a look of deep concentration. He never swatted or tried to play. He just watched, as if he understood that these small movements were a miracle in their own right. When Ivy would get fussy and start to cry, her parents would soothe her, and as she calmed, Ash would lower his head, close his eyes, and let out a soft, rumbling purr, adding his own layer of comfort to the room. One afternoon, a golden stream of sunlight filled the living room, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. Ivy was lying on her back, cooing softly. Ash was stretched out beside her, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her small body. For the first time, Ivy reached out a curious hand, her fingers stretching toward Ash's long, silky fur. Her parents held their breath for a second, but Ash didn't flinch. He didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned slightly closer, just a fraction of an inch, inviting the touch. Ivy's tiny fingers tangled in his fur, and she let out a happy gurgle. Ash remained perfectly still, a statue of patience. This became their silent agreement. He would offer his softness, and she would learn to be gentle. As Ivy grew, Ash adjusted. He was a master of adaptation. When she started to crawl, a tiny human on a mission of discovery, he would gracefully step aside, always giving her a clear path. He learned to anticipate her movements, a silent dance between cat and child. When she would reach for his tail with clumsy, grasping hands, he would simply flick it out of her reach, without a hint of annoyance. He remained calm even when she squealed with delight right next to his sensitive ears. He was her constant, a steady presence in her rapidly expanding world. He taught her, through his own actions, the meaning of respect and gentleness. Years later, when Ivy was old enough to look back at faded photographs, she would see pictures of herself as a baby, a toddler, a little girl, and in almost every one there was Ash, a big silver-gray cat, always nearby. She would remember him not just as a large cat, but as a feeling. He was the quiet presence that made the house feel safe. He was the warm weight at the foot of her bed that chased away nightmares. He was the living, breathing embodiment of comfort. Because sometimes, true gentleness isn't about being small or delicate. It's about having immense strength and choosing over and over again to be soft. It's about having the patience to watch, the wisdom to wait, and the love to stay. And in a quiet house filled with sunlight, a Maine Coon cat named Ash taught a little girl named Ivy that the biggest hearts are often the most gentle. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more stories about the incredible animals we share our lives with. We'll see you in the next one.